What a long week it has been for me. Sorry guys for the lack of uploads. It's been really hard for me. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the fight analysis and predictions for the fights that I'm confident in for UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Royval 2. Starting off with the early prelims, I'm going straight into the Felipe dos Santos versus Victor Altamirano fight. In this one, I'm going to back Felipe dos Santos to get it done. In his last fight, he stepped in on short notice against Manel Kape. The fight, it was a lot more competitive than anybody else thought it would be. Felipe dos Santos, even though he lost, the performance he showed just displayed the absolute dog he is in that cage. A tough matchup for anyone in the flyweight division. Victor Altamirano is coming off a loss against Tim Elliott by decision and no real impressive performances or wins in the UFC. He did get wins, but it doesn't warrant me to believe that he could beat Felipe dos Santos. He beat Lacerda, who's fighting on this card as well. Not very impressive. Lacerda is not that great, not UFC caliber, and he beat Vinicius Salvador, who also is not UFC caliber. Vinicius Salvador has not won a fight in the UFC to date. I have a lot of stock in Felipe dos Santos, maybe a bit too much after a loss, but that performance was spectacular. We shall see if it's going to work out. Next up is going to be Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda, and in this fight, it just has drama on drama on drama. I don't even know if it's going to take place as of this recording, but Daniel Lacerda missed weight. He informed the commission that he was going to miss weight, and the news was communicated to Edgar Chairez, who was at 131 pounds at the time, and he stopped cutting weight. So both were over the 126 limit. At least Chairez didn't have to drain his body down to 126. He's a big dude, and the weight cut may not have as much of an effect as it normally does in fights. Not only that, the last time this fight was booked, Lacerda would have pulled out last minute, and Chairez decided to take a break until further notice. Guess he was just waiting for Lacerda to come back and get his stuff together. He thought the drama was done. Nope. They fought in September last year in the Shevchenko versus Grasso 2 fight, and Chairez caught Lacerda in a guillotine that was pretty deep. Lacerda's hand went temporarily limp, and Chris Tognoni stepped in, and Lacerda instantly protested. So it got turned to a no contest, and they'll be running it back. This fight shouldn't go much different from the first one. The only thing I'm considering is whether Chairez is going to win by KO or submission. I'm leaning more towards a submission because that's more his game. Next up is going to be Jesus Aguilar versus Mateus Mendonça. And man, does Mendonça piss me off. In his last fight, he left an absolutely terrible taste in my mouth. He should have made easy work against Nate Maness, but he kept going for leg lock after leg lock after leg lock and got ground and pounded to death. Such a low IQ fighter. Jesus Aguilar, there's not much to judge in his UFC fights. He lost to Tatsuro Taira, but everybody is. And he beat Shannon Ross very early by knockout. But the dude is a legit grappler, and I just can't trust Mateus Mendonça's IQ to beat anyone, really. I got Aguilar getting it done. Next up is the Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan fight, and this one, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on it, but I think Torres is going to get fraud checked here. I think Chris Duncan is going to catch him with a KO via overhand. His power is legit, and Torres' striking defense is mad suspect. His hands are low, and his chin is high, so give me Chris Duncan on this one. Next up is the Yasmin Jauregui versus Sam Hughes fight, and I got Yasmin winning all day. Her striking is way too slick for Sam, and she's good enough to defend any form of offense that Sam's going to throw back her way. Give me Yasmin Jauregui. Next up is the Wonder Boy, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Tercios, and come on guys, the UFC are giving a layup to Rosas to boost his stock even higher. Somewhere in the fight, Raul Rosas is going to get the back and sink in a patented rear naked choke. Should be easy work for him. Raul Rosas to get it done. Next up is the co-main event of the evening, Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega, and wow, has my opinion changed of these two fighters since the last time they fought. Yair is pure class on the striking. I rate it much more than I do with Brian Ortega. His kicks are dynamic, and he's not that easy to take down. Also, he's become a lot more offensive when he is taken down. Ortega is also not that good at getting guys to the ground. Should be mainly a stand-up fight. Even if it gets to the ground, I think Yair is going to impress and do enough to make it back to his feet or survive the remainder of the round if needed. They fought before, and last time they fought, Ortega, his shoulder popped out, but I think that was more due to the armbar attempt that Yair was doing than anything wrong with Ortega itself. It was a fluke injury, but Yair was going to get it done anyway, so give me Yair Rodriguez to win this fight. On to the main event of the evening, Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval 2. The first time they fought, Royval's shoulder would have popped out, unfortunately. However, these guys have improved a lot since then. I give the edge to Moreno. Moreno is such a slick striker. Look at the Kai Kara France win that he had. His striking looked phenomenal. And his grappling, he has no joke on the mats. I think he gets it done against Royval, and I think he gets it by a finish. There's not much I can really say about this fight. It's a short notice fight. Royval's gonna have to surprise Moreno to get the job done. So yeah, give me Brandon Moreno to get it done. And this has been my UFC Fight Night picks for Moreno versus Royval 2. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think down below, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, game time.